the very first episode of the Indie Basketball Podcast. Not just a meme page. We don't just do memes. But yeah, this is the first episode, and we got a lot of stuff planned. There's a lot of things we could do. We want to do some interviews, but this first one is a segment I plan on having coming back every now and then, and that's a fantasy draft. And not your regular fantasy draft. We're just going to do fantasy drafts of all sorts of fun things related to hoops and related to music, and it'll be a blast. But first, I want to introduce, I have three awesome guests today. And we'll start with, we have Trey Kerby. What up, dude?
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Can't wait to talk. We got a great week. What a time to launch a podcast. Memes to streams.
Absolutely. Trey is from No Dunks Podcast, is where you may know him. And killing it, dude. Like, how you been?
Busy. Right now, I'm in the podcast studio. A few hours from now, I'm in the bedroom. It's that easy.
Absolutely. So, I'm a few feet apart. I'm in a studio, so that's the whole pandemic thing's been wild.
Yeah, exactly right. Every day feels the same, but when it's a week like this, when you're getting basketball news every single day, it's a great week.
Yeah. Plenty of signings. I feel like, honestly, I can't keep up enough. Like, I put my phone down for 10 minutes and something else has happened. It's been nuts.
Yeah, the screen time report is struggling in November, no doubt.
Yeah. Woj is popping. Woj is just ever popular. Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Yeah, thanks for joining. We also have Saman. How you doing?
What up? I'm good, man. Much the same as Trey. This will be my bedroom later.
There you go.
But for now, it's the podcast studio. And I'm y'all may know me from the Nostalgia Mixtape podcast. But I'm in Houston, and so we're currently in the middle of James Harden gate and what's going to happen with that, and Russ, and we'll see.
Is James Harden going to be in my city soon? Is he going to be up in Brooklyn?
I feel like this city has, as much as I love our teams and our players, I feel like our front offices just have never, in my adult life, given our star players like the pieces they need to put together a championship. So personally, I love all that James has done for the city, but if he needs to go somewhere else to get that ring, please. Yeah. I don't want him to go out like Charles Barkley. You know what I'm saying?
He's got to do his KG.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Cool. Thanks again for joining. And lastly, we have Blake Murphy. What up, dude?
What's going on? Athletic takeover, Trey.
Yeah, right?
It's gonna be great. Me and Blake are gonna tag team together a little bit later. We've got some things worked out that we've been.
Oh wow, you got advantages going.
Yeah,
okay.
We got to look out for each other.
Look, Survivor Series is tonight. This is the night for teamwork.
That's exactly right.
Oh man, I see the alliance is happening right now. You guys are gonna feed each other picks. This is not good. Yeah, I see how it goes. So as I mentioned, we're doing a fantasy draft, and the very first episode of this fantasy draft, we are drafting player names, what better fitting with the indie basketball. Let's draft some of the best player names. And that's not just, silliest sounding name or funny sounding name, but that's also badass names, whatever it is you got. And it's not just NBA. It could be WNBA. It could be college players. It's wide open, but we're going to have a lot of good picks. And yeah, dude, I think this is going to be a blast. So I'm excited. Before that, any other you want to talk any other hoops news, man? What's going on? I don't even know, because I put my phone down, so I don't even know what the latest is.
Might be missing stuff right now.
I know, as there's like a hour gap that we're gonna miss some shit. You mentioned Bazemore, something with Bazemore, right?
Oh yeah, Big Baze is going back to the Bay. He's going to be a Golden State Warrior again. The return of some sideline antics, perhaps. I saw Willie Cauley-Stein also going back to the Mavericks. When the big names are Gordon Hayward and Fred VanVleet, the little names aren't quite as exciting. But
don't be disrespecting Blake like that.
Hey,
just hanging on here, waiting for the Marc Gasol news.
That's exactly right. Woo. Looks like he's using a little Lakers leverage there to drive up the deal from the Raptors, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it's. We don't want to get all analysis-y, but the Lakers have no money left, so you better price that ring appropriately.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Do you need that? Do you need money to pay for players? I don't know.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. Not when you're in Los Angeles. No, they just go.
There are some clutch workarounds, right? You sign Gasol the minimum now, and then he gets the KCP deal after.
That's right. Maybe a cameo in Space Jam 3. There are ways to get around this. Much like when you're setting up backroom deals for NBA name picks. Similar stuff.
Wow. Okay. No, you guys got to chill. You guys got to cool it. So we had the reason we're doing this, obviously, is we had the draft this past week. I think from what I know, 2 of us have teams that were active in the draft, and 2 were definitely, I mean, should still happen. But Trey, you and I had some high hopes for this draft. How do you feel you did?
Much like you, I'm just excited that it's different people making the choices. You know, if it were Garpax, who drafted the youngest American player in the draft who didn't start during college and then use a second round pick on a person that everybody thought was a 34-year-old man, turned out you just couldn't find a picture of him. If that was John Paxson making the pick, I would hate it.
Yeah.
But since it's Arturas Kanishevich, I'm like, let's give him a shot. Let's give him a shot. This guy knows what he's talking about. Look how great he was drafting with the Denver Nuggets. I'm willing to wait it out. I'm just, it feels like the Bulls have been winning ever since the actual basketball games stopped. Maybe once we start playing again, they'll see a little bit of success on the
Don't give
court.
me hope like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing all these moves the Hawks are making, and everybody now, they're putting the Hawks over the Bulls for sure. But I think back to last offseason, 2019, the Bulls made the exact same kind of moves the Hawks were making, and everybody thought the Bulls were a playoff team. Now it feels like they're going to be one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't know. I'm not feeling optimistic, but Patrick Williams, he's got some big legs. You got to like that.
There's a lot of videos circulating lately about him playing some whatever random pickup games with a bunch of NBA players like Dinwiddie and Diallo and all these people. But yeah, I have hopes. I don't know, but also the GM, I don't even know how it's Karnisovas. Is that how you say it? I guess. But he is the same guy who also fleeced the Bulls in giving up the pick. So it was Doug McDermott for Nurkic and Gary Harris. Like, I don't know how that happens. Blows my mind, but I'm happy to have him on our side now.
Exactly right. Hopefully he's the one doing the fleecing sometime in the future. And who knows? It's fun to be optimistic when the games haven't even started yet. I'm like, yeah, of course. Patrick Williams, even if he is the next Marvin Williams, that means he's going to have a 15-year career. You can't sneak. That's all right.
That's fine, yeah. So man and Blake, how do you guys feeling about your teams?
What you got, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Losing Serge Ibaka hurts worse than I thought it would. And then draft-wise, the Raptors drafted 2 very Raptors-y guys. And by that, I don't even mean that, like, Malachi Flynn is in the Fred VanVleet mold. I mean that he has already hawked 3 different products on his Instagram and Twitter since being drafted. He is, for a team that part of the Raptors player development system is how do you get the money outside of your rookie contract? And we've got guys here doing peanut butter and jam commercials, Osmos commercials, GoDaddy commercials, and Malachi Flynn after it already. He's got a Wingstop commercial. He's got champagne pictures with the label out right at the camera. This guy's a pro already in terms of getting his side hustle in.
He's ready for that Drake lifestyle.
Exactly.
They got to hook him up with a logo. I know that's a big Raptors thing too. It feels like every employee of the Raptors has a logo.
Personal branding all the way. Yeah, everyone. So man, what about the Rockets? How you feel?
Well,
Other than
I
the
have
James
no
Harden vanity.
We got rid of Ariza. I always liked him. I felt like he always came through for us. So I know we're trying to like clear up some space in the old budget, but I don't know. I don't know who we could really attract right now. Maybe I'll know better than I do. I've heard John Wall maybe, but is that a championship puzzle piece? I don't know.
I don't know what John Wall is holding up. I'm very curious to how he holds up in the future.
Yeah, I don't want to be I'm usually the optimist, but I feel like we might be just heading into some rebuilding years, and it might be quiet for a while in Houston.
For sure, man.
You hate to see it.
Oh yes. All right. Why don't we hop into the draft then? So we got to determine this order, and I've come up with it's a little bit of a trivia question, and since it is indie basketball, this is going to be an indie music related question. We'll see. It's all right. We'll see. It's pretty out there. I don't know if anyone's going to actually get it, but the question to determine the draft order is how many people in total have been associated with Broken Social Scene?
Oh wow. This is going to be a complete guess for me, so if anyone wants to.
I'm going to say 27.
Okay.
I mean, that's fair. I'm going to go a little lower.
There's been a lot of turnover.
A lot of turnover, and they're a big band to begin with.
They got to
Their
fill that
basketball
roster.
reference page is insane. Just the list goes on. All these people playing like 3-4 minutes in a season on 10 days.
I heard they just picked up Jeff Green. I was like, man, this guy really had him. Give me 22. I don't know, 22.
All right, I'll go low. I'll go 18.
All right, Blake, you hit it on the head. 27.
Hell yeah!
Wow.
Many members. So yeah, you hit it on the head. That means you get to decide what the order is. You get to pick what the order is, and I will be writing this down and logging this.
Wow. This is
because it's a serpentine draft. There is an advantage and disadvantage, and it already feels like if you get the athletic thing is happening, you're going to set them up for first and last. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Trey's got to give me some table talk right now on where he wants to pick.
I know the Bulls just had massive success getting Patrick Williams at the number 4 spot, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll yeah. And this is historic, right? It's not just current.
Oh yeah, all time. Anyway.
Okay. Then I'm gonna take number 1. Then I'm gonna give Trey number 4. So we're gonna bookend.
Wow.
And then
huge.
Saman, I'll give you 2 and Matt 3.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. You know what? There is. I wouldn't say there's a complete disadvantage because at least you get the consistency of going in the middle every time. You got to wait a long time.
Yeah. You can get a good flow going.
Yeah, for sure.
And Trey's gonna have the issue if he's got to make back-to-back picks. Does he get parched? Does he get too thirsty?
I'm taking my full 5 minutes before every pick.
You gotta fill in the commissioner on those picks,
That's
and
right.
you got your time.
Call him in. Mm-hmm.
So on that note, with the first pick in the fantasy draft, Blake, you're on the clock.
I need no time. I'm going to select God Shamgod as the
That's
number 1
incredible.
pick in the cool name draft.
Of course.
There's no there hasn't been a prospect this obvious since Cade Cunningham for the 2021 draft. So this is God Shamgod, number 1 franchise player. Let's go.
God tier, definitely name for sure. It's incredible, and I'm sure everyone had this on the short list, so that's a very good one.
Great pick.
Did he ever play in the NBA, or was he just a forever prospect, like a college player?
He probably had like a couple of games. Yeah, he played 20 games for the Washington Wizards back in the day. Yeah. And now I think he's an assistant coach somewhere, perhaps Dallas. I think he was a Dallas ball handling coach for a little bit.
He's a player development guy in the Maverick system, teaching everyone the Sham God, as it were.
I mean, how prominent to have your own move immortalized forever. I mean, dude. Of course.
I'm still look. It's such a missed opportunity for the Raptors to have signed literally Skip to My Lou out of the and one circuit, and like he doesn't have a move named after him.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like he should have tried to pull the like basketball in your jersey and elbow it around move in an NBA game just to stake his claim to it.
That's right.
For sure. All right, that's an excellent.
I wish he would have. Damn.
Yeah. Moving on to pick 2. Saman, dude, what do you got?
Well, I think Blake made me pivot because I had another pick lined up, but if Blake was going to go with God Shamgod, then I am absolutely going to go with World Be Free.
Oh,
good one.
The noun names, here they go.
Yes.
Good, dude.
Yes.
That's a good one.
I had to do it. And part of the reason that I'm going with this pick is because he did end his career with the Rockets. So that's a little bit of some hometown love for me. So shout out to World Be Free. I don't know what you're doing right now, but
I feel like his era, there were a good amount of guys that just had names like that just incredible. I mean, is that his birth name?
I did some light Googling and I literally couldn't find, like on his Wikipedia page, it's not like early life, World Be Free was born,
Right.
like whatever, John Smith. It just says World Be Free grew up in whatever, New Jersey or some shit.
I mean, dude.
I think he's born Lloyd Be Free. Just Lloyd Be Free, which is pretty cool name to begin with.
Yeah,
right.
Switching it up to World, and you're seeing a run already in massive concepts going off the draft board here. I mean, World Be Free, and of course God. This is big time.
You got to keep the initial too. The middle initial adds so much to that name.
1000%. 1000%. And
World
I feel like
Free
also,
doesn't sound like anything.
No, his name is a sentence.
It's a totally different meaning without the B. It's like the Oxford comma of letters.
Oh, absolutely. I mean? Absolutely. Oh,
wow.
That's a good pick. That's a solid pick. Definitely. We got some top ones here. I am going third. And I think in a similar realm, similar era, I'm going to go with Tree Rollins. Nice. Keeping the nouns going. Tree, yes. I mean, he as a player, he totally embodied his name. He was solid as a tree, big dude. And yeah, I think Tree Rollins is you don't forget that name.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's good. I remember having a skybox card of his back in the day. It had like tree written in cursive, just gorgeous,
Beautiful. Absolutely wonderful.
It makes you wonder who was the biggest tree hugger of that era.
Bill Walton's got to be up there.
Bill Walton,
yeah. Absolutely. Big tree fall hard, man.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Trey, your first pick.
All right. So we've got some nouns going off the board. I love it. I'm going to complete the round in much the same way. With the fourth pick, I'll take Magic Johnson.
Very nice.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent
it's him and my next pick. I'll just give you my next pick, my second round pick.
All right.
First pick. I'm going with Larry Bird. Because I think, the fact that it's been Magic versus Bird for 40 years, we've kind of lost fact that we're calling one guy Magic Johnson and another guy's last name is literally Bird. Like one of the best basketball players ever. His last name is Bird. So Magic and Bird, two great names. Would they have been as great of players if they were just Irvin Johnson and Larry Jerry? Probably not, Irvin versus Jerry, not as catchy, but Magic versus Bird, it saved the league.
I mean, he's got the double, like, yes, his name is very phallic, obviously, but also on its own sounds like a very badass name. I'd say that leads more to a badass name than it does like in the funny territory.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird, in my opinion, you mentioned the argument of them facing each other. Larry Bird in its own name, I think is actually kind of a lame name personally. That's just my take.
You're telling me I reached...
Man. Oh, I like Larry Bird. I'm giving bonus points for the fact that there's a CBA clause named after him. You get bird rights to everyone in every name that goes undrafted by way of having Bird himself on your team.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of talented names undrafted, no doubt.
Yeah.
If you own a bird, guarantee somebody's going to suggest you name it Larry. You can lock that in.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
That is very true. All right, you got your back-to-backs. We're in round 2. And I am up for round 3, and I have to revisit my list because there's a lot, and I may have to go back. Actually, we had World Be Free round 1. World is a common name. I got to go with Meta World Peace. Come on.
I love that. I love that pick. Wow.
There's 2 world names in this draft, so it's incredible. And I know I might get some flack because that's not his given name, Ron Artest, of course, but Meta World Peace, you don't forget that name.
Yeah. That is an all-time name.
And then never forget the Malice in the Palace, Can't
Which we just had the anniversary of.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was. I was walking into my high school newspaper class, and the first thing I would do was like check the front page of like what's happening in the news, and it was like, because I guess I fell asleep the night before. I don't know. I didn't catch it in real time.
That was a very early like YouTube video, and I think they actually, I don't know if I remember this correctly, I think they actually took it down because the NBA is like, we can't have people remembering this, and it was really hard to find the video of it for a long time, but obviously since you can't
I like that logic that if we take it off YouTube, people forget there was a brawl involving fans. It's like the people who are like, we can't take the statues down. People won't remember
Yeah,
history.
it just doesn't exist anymore. It never happened.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And let's not forget Jermaine O'Neal almost murdered a man if he hadn't slipped.
Dude, there was that part where the camera is on the floor trying to like cover everything, and you just see the fan and Jermaine O'Neal run up to each other and stop.
Yeah.
And he just decks them. It's just
Oh my
incredible.
gosh.
A moment in history, never to be forgotten.
Never
An
to be
all-time
forgotten.
great swing.
Yes.
Wow.
That brings us to your second round picks, man.
Okay, so I know we've gotten a lot of the noun names out of the way. The other thing I was thinking about when coming up with my prospective pick list is names that are just perfect for playing basketball. I think the obvious one is Tim Duncan, so I'm not going to go with Tim Duncan. I'm going to go WNBA, and I'm going to go with Alizia Blockton.
Ooh.
Blockton is like, it's like a step up from Stockton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It fits better. So I'm going to go with her she plays for the Chicago Sky. And I actually don't know if I'm saying her name right. Could be Elijah. But anyway, Blockton, you got to play basketball if that's your last name.
Oh yeah. I mean, first WNBA player off the board. So that's
go.
huge. That's
Good
great.
get.
Let's go.
Doing good things.
Also changing my strategy now. I had John Block, a 1960s center, high on my board, but I don't know. I don't want to chase a Blockton with a block. I feel like this is like when there's a run on centers in the draft and you start reaching for bad ones. I'm gonna leave John Block untouched for now.
I think you got a backlog going now. Yeah.
It could also be like Pokemon, like evolutionary stages. It's like blocked in. Like I don't know what the third one would be, but it's out there. We got to find it
for sure.
All right. In keeping with the WNBA theme and a name just perfect for basketball, I'm going to select out of the WNBA Jordan Hooper.
Oh wow, wow!
I thought about going to the G League for Max Hooper, which is just as good. But I want some WNBA representation here. So Jordan Hooper is my second round pick.
It's a good one.
Very
That's you hear his name, you know what he does. So
big time.
Sorry, my bad. Jordan Hooper. 2 WNBAs off the block.
Yes.
Incredible.
All right. And now, so I have what I feel like is the coolest name in God Sham God. I've got some basketball appropriate WNBA representation with Jordan Hooper. Now I'm going to go for giggles. To start the third round, we select Mo Cheeks.
Oh yeah.
Mo Cheeks.
Oh yes.
Good one.
And you have to say Mo Cheeks because Maurice Cheeks kind of softens it.
Yeah.
Softens a little.
It's Mo Cheeks.
Mo Cheeks. All right. We got some.
Wow.
We're going for the giggles for sure. I mean, even if you go back to Magic Johnson, there's a few names with little giggles in here, but there's plenty more on the board, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
You want to be versatile, right? You don't want to overload your team with one style of player, one style of name. You gotta.
You're really going for a really well balanced team, and I see you.
You have to.
All right, going back Serpentine now, Saman. It's your third pick.
I'm not gonna lie, Blake took one off my list with that one. That hurts. That stings. So now I'm going back to the drawing board, and if I want to keep with the names that make you giggle theme, then I definitely want to go with Carrie Kittles.
Ooh,
Carrie Kittles.
alliteration.
That's always made me giggle. Yeah.
And that's one that's not. It's not like a logical like. It's totally easy why his name's funny. You have to say it to know why it's great.
Say it. Yes, absolutely.
He's a two-namer for me. Always Carrie Kittles. Never Kittles.
No.
Yep. 1000%. You get a name
One
like
sock
that,
up, one sock down. What a legend.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
Incredible. All right. My third pick, and I'm loading up on nouns, but that's okay. I think I got to go with another giggles. Fat Lever.
Wow. Good one.
I mean,
it's on my list.
Yeah, there's no name like it. It's the sort of name because like he was before, a little bit before my time. I was maybe a little too young for it, but hearing the name Fat Lever for the first time blew my mind that this was a real person. So
right.
Yeah, incredible name. I feel like right for this draft. Had to be done.
Big
I feel like
time,
if anyone forgot to draft him, we would look back and be like, that's a disappointment.
Yeah.
we would regret that.
All right, your third round pick, Trey.
All right, my third round pick. I'll be honest with you. I'm regretting the Larry Bird pick a little bit. I know it's only been a few minutes later.
I called it a reach, but
called it a reach. We'll have to see what it looks like when we get out there on the court. But seeing the names that go off the board here, I'm going to stick to the theme. And a card I would always love to get back in the 90s was a player on the Warriors, Bimbo Coles.
Wow.
Bimbo Coles. Like, I don't know. There were two ways you would ever hear the word bimbo in the 1990s. It was either watching Clueless or getting a pack of Skybox and pulling out a Bimbo Coles. He was around for the Warriors for the longest time, I remember. He was like the only player you'd remember on the Warriors. Obviously, that has changed now, but man, shout out to Bimbo Coles.
He held it down for a long time.
Exactly right.
I feel like it's a sort of name too, where it's like, I forgot what stand-up comedian did this, but he did a bit about naming your kid Jeeves. It's like, you name your kid Jeeves, there's only one profession he's getting into. Oh, that's good, man. That's a good one. And now you're back to back. So your final pick. This is the fourth round. Your final pick.
My final pick, and I think this one might be controversial, but I've gone all for giggles here. So I want a boring name. I want a standard name, but a name you would expect to be hearing a lot more often. Give me Joe Smith. There's 70 plus Joes in the NBA. There's 70 plus Smiths in the NBA, but there's only one Joe Smith, and he was drafted number 1, and nobody knows anything else about his career, despite the fact that he played for like 17 seasons and 17 teams. The guy put together a long career named Joe Smith.
That's
you realize this is a fun names draft and not a CBA wrinkles draft, right? Are you drafting Ted Stepien next to go with the Joe Smith rule and Larry Bird rights?
Sorry, man. It's a free agency week. I've been reading too much Larry Kuhn.
Also, Larry Kuhn is my cap analyst in this.
Wow.
You went for the analytic approach to this last pick. That's impressive.
That's right. That's right. I didn't have a lot of room underneath my cap left. I had to sneak in a Joe.
Joe Smith obviously also makes me think that there's like hundreds of Joe Smith relief pitchers in Major League Baseball. So, I mean, that's just another thing. But basketball, quite a different story.
Mm-hmm.
You really completed the Venn diagram on that one. That's crazy. Wow.
All right. So I'm looking at my last pick. I've got Tree Rollins, Meta World Peace, Fat Lover. I've gone very noun heavy, obviously. I think here I'm going back to your Kerry Kittles pick. I'm going for another alliteration, and it's more than just an alliteration. I'm going Bull.
Wow. Yes.
Carrying on the torch from Ruben Boomty with the alliteration name in the NBA.
Great one.
I mean, a man who's got two of the same name. Let alone, like, there's players with just one name, but a player with two of the same name, that's unheard of. Incredible.
He's so nice they named him twice, man.
Exactly. And in line in my thinking with, Sean Kemp's children all named Sean Kemp. So
we could do a whole draft of just players named Sean Kemp.
Yeah, absolutely.
In like 20 years.
We're going to draft Sean Kemp's children. Maybe it's awful. I'm not sure. So, man, we're at your final pick.
Literally, there were so many options. I know there's going to be some picks that I feel bad about not going with when I look back, but I want to go with a name that might go overlooked a lot of times. He didn't play in the league for very long, but it's a mouthful, and I think for that reason, worth going with. I want to go with Dontonio Wingfield, just because it's a mouthful.
And also, there's a whole like category of players that have a dignified sounding name, and he fits that.
Yes, 1000%. Like, that's a man who was born in a tux. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's when I hear that name, I don't think his name is Dontonio. I think he's a Don, and people are referring to him as Dontonio.
Yes.
I mean, his name
one
has
of the most
accent.
Respected and feared players in NBA history.
And you never cross him.
Exactly. Antonio. His name has an accent to it. It's great.
Yes.
All right, Blake, the very last pick of the draft. There's a lot on the table.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure, right? So,
Yeah.
like we're going to have this draft and we're going to have names like Pooh Richardson and Mookie Blaylock go undrafted here. Slick Watts could go undrafted. I thought I wanted some Raptors representation here. Some great names in Raptors history. But I'm not going that way. And then the one name I'm saddest to lose because it's a hilarious guy and name to realize existed is 1980s Detroit Pistons short-term player Fennis Dembo. Not going with him. I'm going to leave him on the board, Fennis Dembo. And in the spirit of this being the last pick of the draft and this being Mr. Irrelevant and my earlier pick of Jordan Hooper with a name that fits, I will be drafting Frank Brickowski.
Wow.
There's a reason this guy slipped.
Okay.
Brickowski. Not a 731 game career in the NBA, all of them filled with bricks.
Wow.
So we got Blockton and we got bricks in this draft, and
yeah,
we got Hooper.
Brickowski.
There's plenty of just straight baller names, like this is your job. And unfortunately, Frank Brickowski's job was to brick.
Yeah. That was his destiny. He couldn't deny it.
That's a wonderful set of picks here. I mean, we should be proud. There's some solid teams here. I'm gonna go ahead and recap everyone's team so we can all just hear it out loud. And we're gonna start with Blake. You've drafted God Shamgod, Jordan Hooper, Mo Cheeks, and Frank Brickowski.
I feel good about it.
That's solid, man. That's
Yeah.
solid.
Not getting Fennis Dembo is tough, but we'll see. We'll reach out to Fennis's agent, see if we can get an undrafted free agent thing going on.
He could be the first free agent off the board after this.
Yeah.
So,
If you wait long enough, you can sign him to a tennis debo.
Oh no!
Or not.
Oh
or not.
no!
An Exhibit Fen contract.
This is getting wild. Saman, your team ends up being World Be Free. What is it? Alazia Blockton?
I'm gonna go with Alazia
Blockton.
Yeah.
Kerry Kittles and Dontonia Wingfield.
There was a lot of people I really wanted just to hear their names come out of my mouth. I really wanted to say Arvydas Sabonis. I really wanted to say Adonal Foyle, Antonio McDyess. Like, these are names that I just really wanted to say. But look, we only had 4 rounds. And I think I personally feel like I did the best I could.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm happy with it.
You do have a good amount of names that when you read them, not so much, but when you say them, excellent.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I got my squad and I'm rolling with them.
There you go. My final squad is Tree Rollins, Meta World Peace, Fat Lever, and Bull. There's plenty I left that I wanted to take. There's a good amount of players who were big in college and just kind of flickered out in the NBA, including Luscious Harris, Smush Parker, Royal Ivy. There's a lot of good ones there. And there's some legends too, man. Spud Webb, Muggsy Bogues.
Yep.
A lot of good ones left on the table. And Trey, your final team ends up being Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Bimbo Coles, and Joe Smith. How you feel?
I'm having regrets. I went in with a plan and I stuck to it. Unfortunately, going back to back from 4 to 5, it threw me off. I had to go with Magic and Larry.
Yeah. I
feel
feel like
I don't know. I feel the names I were considering, I'm like, Bogdan Bogdanovic. That's an awesome name, but is it too much this week getting in my head? Is it just because I've read the name Bogdan Bogdanovic 1,000 times this week?
And do I also have to think of Bojan? Is that going to throw me off?
Sure, exactly. LaMelo Ball, like that's a name I think that's a.
I mean, Lonzo Ball was on my list.
Sure.
Lonzo Ball is an incredible name.
But yeah, if you're talking about a best names in NBA history draft circa 1998, I'm feeling very strong in that draft.
Yeah, okay. yeah, for sure. Okay. Any other names, fringe names that we forgot that you're thinking of?
Nene, maybe.
Yeah, I had Nene.
Yeah.
And I also maybe it's a stretch, but I had Shaq because I know it's technically a nickname, but Shaq is a one-word name that everyone knows.
Had at some point Shaquille O'Neal dropped the Akil O'Neal or the Eel O'Neal from his name and gone like all caps Japanese wrestler style, just Shaq. I
Oh,
feel
man.
like he would have been a first round pick in this,
Yeah.
but his
Yeah.
insistence on having a legal name cost him big time here.
That's true. That's a good point. And
Unbelievable.
also OJ Mayo, another one.
Yep.
Good one.
Yep.
The double food name. How do you miss that?
That
So,
is so rare. That is so rare.
yeah. All right.
Double
We got some good
point.
picks here. And what we're gonna do is on Indie Basketball on Twitter, I'm gonna put up a poll on who won this draft. So we're gonna
Wow.
find out
Wow.
what the people think and what are the best names. I'm trying to figure out, maybe I'll do it on Instagram, but Instagram doesn't have a good multi-poll situation.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Man, this was a great inaugural draft. This
Man,
is
thank you for
incredible.
having us.
And I appreciate all you guys for coming on and doing this. This was a lot of fun. Why don't we go around and for last thing, if you have things you want to plug, your podcast, whatever, Trey, what you got?
I'm everywhere on social media. Trey Kerby, TreyKerby. Same with our podcast that we do for The Athletic. No Dunks. We're No Dunks Inc. No Dunks, the words INC. Please follow us and listen.
Amazing. So, man.
Yep. I have a very long name, but it is my my Twitter handle. It's SAMAANASHRAWI. You can follow my podcast, Nostalgia Mixtape, at Nostalgia Tapes. If you want to hear celebrities talk about memories that are tied to music. And I want to give a big shout out to my fellow basketball heads, Courtney Cox and Perry Johnson, over at the Sound of Victory
That's
for being,
how we
Yep.
got connected.
That's
You
our
recommended
link up.
me, and then
Yep.
it came together.
There it is.
Very quality. And also, you have some literature as well, correct?
Yes, I do. I just came out with a magazine that I edited. It's called Palestine in America. Did like a whole music edition for them. But you can find a lot of my writing online. I interview cool people all the time, and it's all out there. It's all out there. If you want to, you can go to semantics.com, SMNTCS.com.
Amazing. And Blake?
Before we do that, I would just like to thank the 27 members of Broken Social Scene individually for getting me the #1 pick. So thank you to Leslie Feist, Emily Haynes.
Oh, no.
I won't do the whole thing. Now you can find me at The Athletic with Trey. I cover the Raptors there and do a Raptors podcast. I also have a music podcast called Columbia House Party, where we bring guests on and just kind of, the guest picks an album that means a lot to them, and we just kind of dive into why and listen to some old songs. It's a lot of fun, and we've had some cool guests on that one. The Raptors keep shooting down my request for Nick Nurse on it, but one day we'll get him. So check that out. That's called Columbia House Party.
Awesome. And the last thing I want to kind of ask you guys, my backup question for determining the draft pick. I need to know this. And I was going to ask, what is the most you have ever scored in a game personally?
Oh, wow.
44.
No.
Get out of town.
I was on fire for a half. I scored 30 in the first half.
my
I was
goodness.
terrible in the second half.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I think the most I ever scored in a game was like 12 points or something, or like
I
15
think
points.
mine was like 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
I got
hockey
boards.
player, not really a basketball player. Trey's seen me play basketball. It's, the better question for me would be, how many points did I deny someone else from scoring? That's the way bigger thing.
Yeah,
Blake's got a
perfect.
sick pickup on his Twitter right now, actually, if you want to go check it out to see.
Oh yeah,
you
me
hold down
posting
post
up with a
position,
terrible
yeah.
handle. Yeah,
Straight up fundamentals right there.
yeah. Get the bows up.
Got to protect the ball down there.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I went with that question, I think we would have had a similar result anyway, because you guys were in it from the beginning, so it didn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wow. Wow.
I want to thank you all for doing this again. This has been a great time, and we'll have another one real soon. So thanks to everyone for